So the power of the unconscious. Our unconscious is such a powerful machine. Our unconscious has one job, one main job, and that's all about survival. It's keeping you alive. It's keeping you alive so you can have a long quality and quantity of life. The quality is the conscious, but the unconscious is the quantity. It wants to have a long period of life. Now you might think, well, why? It's exactly what we're born here for. We're born here on this planet for a journey to have as much experience as we will possibly can. That's why a fair chunk of us have a natural ability to want to survive, to live longer. It's only when we have a lot of heavy feelings and emotions from past memories that aren't true that we may very well think, I don't want to be on the planet anymore, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not capable, or what am I doing here? What's the point? Now, these past emotions and feelings on these memories really can hold us back if we're stuck in thinking about them. And if those of you done the one-on-one coaching with me, we talk about how by having a past experience, especially from the age of less than 7, if we've had an experience where something traumatic happened and we survived that, our unconscious is going to put up a pattern that let's create more of that because you survived. And it's the same thing as a child. If we have very little traumatic experience, we have a beautiful upbringing, our unconscious will want us to experience more of that and create that so that we can survive. So the responsibilities of the unconscious, number one is survival, to keep things the same, keep you alive and keep you tracking in a pattern that it knows. Now, when we talk about meditations and spending time listening to meditations or sounds of music or whatever it is with our true choices, we must be plugging into them every day and choosing it and experiencing it, because that's educating our unconscious that it's true. And that after a month of creating a new habit around our true choices, then things starts to happen, the magic around that. Things start to falling in place because your unconscious has the new pattern that you're allowed to have that and you haven't died. So your unconscious is completely programmable. Whatever you feed it, thoughts of things, focus creates reality, whatever you feed it, it'll just give you the same. It'll spit out the end result, give you more of exactly what you feed it. So if we're in a dysfunction, which can be in fear, and the fear of judgment, not being loved, whatever it may be, not feeling failure or success, if we're in that thinking about it, the unconscious goes, wow, we're in here, we're experiencing it, we haven't died, let's have more of the same. Now, when we're in that, we're not having more confidence and better relationships because we're stuck in our current reality, which is being stuck or isolating, of not having more of what we want. So when we actually understand our unconscious doesn't know right or wrong, it's just a yes machine, we can actually start feeding it with exactly what we want to create in our life. And as we start feeding what we want to create, we have the resistance, we notice the resistance, and then we can do the recodes and the other processes to remove that resistance. And for those that haven't had experience of recode yet, go into list the recordings, watch the education video at the top of this Facebook page, and go in there and watch the recordings, or go to the YouTube page and like that. That's pretty cool. And you'll be able to have the experience of actually removing the resistance using your superconscious. Because when we have our superconscious working for us, it wants us to have an exciting life. It wants to give us, through intuition, all the information to have an exciting life. And that's what's so cool. If we're not having an exciting life, then we're having the opposite, which is not exciting, so we're in dysfunction. So when I talk about that, basically, we've got our current reality and our desired reality. The superconscious wants us to have all the fun and excitement in our life that we choose, but we have to choose it. We have to take the action and choose it. If we're not, we're in the opposite in our current reality, right? And that's your current reality, which is the opposite to that. So when we have the two different options, and we've got the current reality, which is less, and the desired reality is more, we've now got two structures. And when we're in the wrong structure, we're simply going to get more of whatever structure we're in. So if we're listening to a meditation and it's feeding our mind, and the mind's sending down information and creating the feeling and emotion of that meditation, then we're creating it as what we want. True choices, having a house and land or a boat or traveling around the world or family, whatever it may be, It's so much more fun thinking, I can't do this, I can't do that, I don't have the skills, I don't want to be judged, I'm not capable, whichever. So it's really, really important that we give the right structure. Now, when we have our beautiful self, if we were to look at the brain here, we have our conscience, which is all about thought. It's your ego. It's what you think about. We then have the unconscious, which is all about survival. It's all about feeling and keeping things the same. So if we've ever had an experience where we've gone out and it was a joyful experience and it was loving and it was fun and it was a great time and we laughed a lot, we're having a beautiful, loving feeling relationship around that, the feeling unconscious. If we think about a time where we made a mistake, got something wrong, or let somebody down, it's a painful feeling. Now, those two different feelings, if we think about those, they actually one will come from our heart, one will come from our gut, because it's different feeling. So our unconscious, all the feeling on it, but to have the feeling, our conscious has to think about it. So if we can control our thoughts of what we're thinking about, then we can control the feeling of our outcome of our unconscious and create what it is that we love. How does a superconscious feel into that? We'll work with that? Great question. Your superconscious is a field of information around here. Your superconscious is a field of information of your eye color, your skin color. It's everything about you. It's your traits. It's your passed down memories from mum and dad. They each had their own superconscious memories and everything in there that passed down to you, the DNA. Now, they've proven with the DNA, we can have what they call junk around the DNA. Information. Now, that information here can also have junk around it, which can be experiences that your parents had when they were on the journey of the planet, if they've transitioned, gone back home, or whatever it is, or if they're still here. Their experience of going through the journey of the planet, they've passed it on to you through your field, passed down. So your superconscious knows English because you speak English. And if you don't speak English, you won't be able to understand me, and you probably, in this group, it's going to be very difficult. However, most people in here speak English, so your superconscious understands English. So when we can give it commands in here, we can ask it to go into our unconscious and remove the emotions and feelings of past memories that don't serve us. The outcome of that is we're simply able to take more action. Take more action around exactly what it is we love. Now, what I'd like you to do is to all pick something you'd like to work on today. Pick a desired reality. Pick a true choice. Something that means something to you that you may have a little bit of, a little bit of resistance around, or maybe just not working as it should. How's that? I'll just turn my mic, put my mic on, turn the volume up. Excellent. I hope you can hear me better now. So I want you to pick something as a desired reality, something that you want to create. Just choose it. Pick something you want to create. And if you've got a pen and paper there, please write it down. If you're watching the recording, feel free to pause it and go grab some paper. So writing down the desired reality, it could be travel, family, fun, a hobby, a sports, artist, being a musician, whatever it may be, just write down that choice you're choosing today. And what I want you to do is just to close your eyes and step into the feeling of having achieved that. Step into the end result of having achieved that, exactly what that means to you. Experience it, feel it, see it. Get a beautiful feeling around who's with you, what are you doing, where are you, what's around you. Just notice it all. And then open your eyes. So you'll notice there, because our eyes are closed, the conscious can't see anything, so it shuts down. So we're purely working with our unconscious. And then you'll know in the unconscious, whatever it may be, what you stepped into, did you feel the resistance? If you felt the resistance, throw a 1 in the chat for me, please. If you felt any resistance at all to that. Excellent. So you did. So that's the resistance. That resistance is emotions and feelings on past memories that don't service us, along the lines of, what are we doing this for? Where are we? Why are we here? You're not good enough. You're not capable. Sabotaging beliefs, self-limiting beliefs, judgments, fears. That's all what we call resistance. And that's all in the middle here. When we're going to create that, we just step in that desired reality, then we get to experience all that resistance that's in the middle. Now, none of that resistance is true. It's all past memories. The breath you just had, it's gone. You can't go back and experience it again. So we have to be able to take action in this world, is to be able to remove as much of this resistance as we can. And that's what I love about this work, and I've created this group to share it with you, is because we can do these processes to remove that resistance so we can just take action with ease, which is so powerful. So your unconscious, as you had that feeling before, as you stepped into it, it organizes all your memories. It's the biggest part of your brain, and it organizes everything. So it's all laid out. So if it needs to, for a survival point of view, you're going to go walk down the street and you see someone that reminds you of when you're picked on at school, you might get this rush of energy going, making your fight or flight want to run the other way, because it's organized that memory and pulled it back into it. Okay, so we want to make sure that whatever we're focusing on here in our desired reality is it's got as much energy around it as we possibly can, because that's when we're going to get the most resistance. And then go into the recordings, for those of you that are in the YouTube channel or here, go and do the recodes and remove it. It's really, really, really a straightforward process. I love it. Eileen's got a comment. It is just that I have never done one before, so no past resistance. Learning how to do it. Resistance is, can I get it right? Excellent. Cool. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Can I get it right? You know, and why would it unconsciously come up with that? So where in the past have we been ridiculed or told you're not getting it right? So take on that belief, so that unconscious believes that we have to get it wrong moving forward, or not take the action around that, because what if we get ridiculed again? Because that's because it's of the memory. Now, when we look at that memory, as we know, the neurons here, we have the emotions and feelings attached to that memory, to that neuron. When we remove, we've actually disconnected the neuron. The emotion and the feeling leaves our body, and then the memory becomes wisdom. And that's so powerful, because it no longer has resistance here and stops us from taking action to having what is it we love. So what else does the unconscious do? It represses memories. It represses memories and unresolved negative emotions. So say, for example, you're happy, everything's fine, you're having a great, beautiful day, and then all of a sudden, has your active experience, you're having fun, whatever it may be for you, active experience, and all of a sudden there's a traumatic memory outside of your active experience which you're not thinking about. And what I mean by that, if I was to say to you, what were you doing at September 11th, for those of you that are over 30, 35, where were you on September 11th? You'll better remember. Or when was the last time you rode a bike? Now you better remember. Before I asked those questions, you weren't thinking about it. So before your active experience asks the questions, as soon as I ask the questions, it comes in to your active experience. Now, when it comes into the active experience, the memory brings the emotion and pain with it in here. And that's why we can get things like, I don't know what came over me. I was happy as, everything was fine. And there's, I don't know what came over me. That's bringing the unconscious is bringing the memory into an active experience to protect us in fight or flight, so we can get out of the situation or not have more of what we don't want. Okay, so really, really important that we can actually recognize that and go, wow, that's actually the process. That's what's actually happening. Because we have zillions of memories from the age of being born, even back prior being in mum's tummy. We have memories in there because our unconscious was created 4 weeks after your mum got pregnant. And how that works is mum and the seed and the egg come together, the sperm, and it's just created. It's such a small dot you are. You're like such a small dot that you can't even see it. That's how small you are when you started the creation, just like a seed that grows into a big tree. You're that tiny little seed, but the thing, at least a seed we can see. When we were first created, we can't even see with a human eye. We are so small. It's so amazing. And in the first 4 months, Inside mum's tummy, we grow the organs, the bits and pieces, the heart, the lungs, the bits and pieces to get our body ready for the spirit to come in. And science proves this. There's plenty of information. You go out and find that. Is when the spirit comes in on the 4th to 5th week, the heart starts beating. As soon as the heart starts beating, you then have an unconscious. The unconscious is all about survival, keeping things the same, being safe, feelings. And its job is to keep you alive, keep the body with the superconscious, building the organs, the skin, the bones, getting all your body together with the information from the superconscious, getting ready for the big day. The big day when you are born at 9 months, approximately, or whenever it may be for you. And when you're born, you go through that full-on experience. You get born, your unconscious can feel the whole thing. You can't consciously think about it because it doesn't start to between the age of 4 and 5 onwards. But you feel it all and you can remember it all. When we do this work and go back, you can remember it. And then you're born, and then your umbilical cord gets cut and you take your first human breath. The first breath of oxygen. And that's when you're a 3D human being ready to take on your journey on this planet. Now, these traumatic experiences can happen right there and then. We can take on a belief as a child, as a small little baby. Oh, but I had it all when I was inside mum's tummy. I was warm, I was fed, I had nourishment, I could hear mum's voice, I could just go to the toilet when I wanted to. Everything was just perfect. And then I went through all this painful experience to then have that taken away from me. So even at that young age and moving on, we can sometimes take on disbeliefs about ourselves, excuse me, of like not being good enough, not being worthy. Why does mum not, why am I here? The meaning of life. Why am I here and not back where I was, where I had it all? And maybe at the age of 2, when mum puts us into daycare because she's got to go to work to bring the money in, to put the food on the table, to pay the bills, we could put up a belief that I'm not worthy. Because if I was worthy, mum wouldn't leave me here. But I'm not good enough as well. Because, or don't belong. Whatever the belief may be. Because why else would mum leave me here with all these strange people? So as this young child, we have all these situations that happen on as experiences of life to be on our journey to grow up and to have an exciting life, whatever that may be for each individual, because we all have a true purpose, whatever that may be. So just think about the unconscious going through that whole process, having all these experiences, taking on all these beliefs, doing it the best that it can to keep you alive, to keep your survival. It doesn't know right or wrong. If you're a real bad upbringing from traumatic experiences all the way through, you'll believe, the unconscious will believe that's what has to happen to have more of it, to keep survival, to keep safe, to keep things the same. If you had a great upbringing, it'll be the same thing. So how powerful is that? Who's enjoying the call so far? Just throw me a 2 in the chat if you're enjoying the call, and we can do a process very, very shortly. So the unconscious is so powerful because that little dot that we created with when we're first conceived all the way to whatever age you are now has kept you alive. It's created you from that little dot of energy all the way to now. So we are designed to survive. We are designed to live. We're not designed to get sick and die. Our unconscious and our consciousness is continuously changing, and Bruce Lipton in epigenetics talks about this. We become our environment of what we're around and the thoughts that we give ourselves. Because when we think a thought, as I mentioned earlier on, it sends a message down, and our body actually changes and adapts to that over a period of time. And we spend 5 years telling ourselves that we're not good enough, we will not be good enough. Simple. Because the unconscious doesn't know right or wrong. It'll believe it to be true that it needs it for survival. And our conscious, because we keep telling ourselves, gets in the pattern of just telling ourselves. The ego says you're just not good enough. Stay driving that rubbish truck because you're never going to be good at anything else. So it's so important in this work that we start feeding positive stuff into our unconscious mind. And that's what the beautiful meditations are about. And there's heaps of meditations in the masterclass or online. There's heaps of cool stuff you can be. I would certainly recommend on the lenses that are in this Facebook group is to print them off and work through your the 4 orientational choices and your true choices to you. I choose the end result of. Now let's step back in that desired reality, what we wrote down before. I want you to close your eyes and just say in your mind or out loud after me, I choose the end result of XYZ, whatever you wrote down. I choose the end result of speaking live on stages. It's the true choice. All around New Zealand, I choose it. And get into that end result, whatever it is for you. Get into the end result, notice where you are, notice what you're doing, notice how it feels. What's it like? Who's around you? What can you see? Bring up all that beautiful emotion and feeling around it. Excellent. And then times it all by 10, and then open your eyes. Now that is one true choice. In this work, we have choices and we just choose it and we take the action around it. And that's what's so powerful about life, because everything in life is a choice. We can choose to be in a dysfunction, or we can choose to take action and create a life that we love, whichever it is for us. Because when we're doing that, and it does take time, 4 to 6 weeks to get things started, we're going to drop a lot of this stuff, because after, say, 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, the unconscious hasn't died, so it's giving it the tick. Oh, I like this. You haven't died. It's fun. The conscious is going, yeah, this is fun. Let's do more, because we're creating a new pattern. We're choosing a new pattern. And that's so powerful. We've just got to take the action longer. You know, I love it. Ellie, yes, do you have your own Facebook page? I can join with this one here's in the Transform Your Life Within group. Kirst can put a page in here. Maybe you came from the email out, did you? Possibly. But yeah, Transform Your Life Within would be the best Facebook page. You could join up and come join us in there, which all this information goes into for free for everybody to join in and get the most out of it. So yeah, thank you. Excellent question. So where was I with that? Yeah, so once we're choosing our true choice and stepping into it, and I recommend you get 3 or 4 true choices over a period of a few weeks, and each day step into that. Step into the true choice. I choose the end result of traveling the world, having an online business, being an artist, a musician, whatever it may be, and bringing that beautiful feeling and emotion around that. Visualize it, see it, be it. Bring that into your active experience right now. And then whatever resistance comes up, go into the processes and remove the resistance by using your superconscious. So today we're going to do a process called magnetic alignment or inner power alignment. And what it basically is we're going to design reality, which we've just worked on. We're going to write down numbers 1 to 7. And then we're going to have a desired reality, a current reality, what's happened in the past, and we're going to look at the next steps. Oh, thank you, Kirst, for putting down the chat. The next steps into intuitively taking actions on what exactly you want. And then we're going to look at what you want on the end, and then achieve that it's finished, and then what do you want to create next from your inner power? Because in this work, I don't give advice, I don't tell people what I think they need to do. You can go down to the local shop or garage and get that sort of information. What I do, and what I love about this coaching, is I get you to figure out what you want to do, come from your inner power and take the action around it. And it's so much more powerful when someone's actually wanting to create from themselves rather than what someone thinks they need to be doing. Because it's just a conflict. Only you know through your true nature and purpose what's most important to you and to what you want to create. And as we're figuring all this out, removing the stuff that's in the way and starting to figure out our true nature and purpose, really celebrate the small wins. You know, if you're wanting to write a children's book, celebrate once you've worked out the name of it and you've written out the first chapter. Celebrate that win, because the unconscious loves the feelings of love around celebration. The conscious loves creation, because your conscious is all about quality of life. Unconscious, all about quantity. So, say for example, we use the metaphor of climbing a tree. Just a bit off the beaten track here. I want you to picture climbing a tree, right? And we'll climb so far, and then once we get to a certain height, say above the roof of a house, our unconscious steps up, throws up a cocktail of emotions and feelings to stop you going any higher, because it's like, what if you fall? If you fall out of the tree, you could hurt yourself and you could die. So the unconscious is going to settle those cocktail of emotions and feelings up to stop you climbing the tree. Unless you climb tree heaps, then there'll be very little resistance, but I'm talking more for those that don't do it a lot, because it's all about survival. It's all about feeling, because it knows if you fall out of the tree and break a bone, it's going to hurt, and it doesn't like pain, right? The conscious is like, go climb that tree. Go climb the tree with the best view. Go as high as what you want, because it likes excitement. The ego just drives it to go and have fun. So there, if we look at that situation, now the conscious and the unconscious aren't getting along. One's like, don't climb the tree, come back down where it's safe. The conscious is like, I want to have the experience. I want to see that beautiful view of the mountains or whatever it may be. So realizing that the two don't get along, we also got to look at, well, what made me choose to climb that tree? How did I know that was the right weather for the day, the right tree, the right view? Was the tree going to have prickles in it? Was it dead? Was it a rotten branch? All that information comes from your superconscious, from in here. Because it wants you to have all the information you need to have the best quality of life and most fun. Just here's the information you need to go create. What are you creating? Okay, here's the information. So it will say, go climb that tree. It's got the best view. Don't climb 2 in the morning because the sun will be in your face. You won't be able to see. Don't climb that tree because the neighbour's a grumpy old man. He'll tell you off, whatever it may be. So that's the 3 different forms of consciousness that we have. And that's so cool and so powerful. When I just love knowing that when we actually separate all that consciousness and actually understand who we are and what we are, we can superconsciously create anything we want simply by stepping into it, stepping into this desired reality. So today, with the inner power and alignment, what I want you to do on your piece of paper is to write down from 1 to 7. Just like so. Just write down 1 to 7. That's it. Just write that down. Just check there's no questions on the Facebook page. Nope. Cool. Good stuff. Excellent. So just write down 1 to 7. Now your desired reality, which was where we just were, I want you to write that at number 5. Desired reality. That beautiful creation, the thing you desire, the creation, the true choice. Write that in there. And then on that 2, I want you to write your current reality. What's your current reality like? So on your piece of paper, I want you to write down your current reality, what's it like now? Well, obviously it's less than my desired reality. I've got resistance of not good enough, not capable, can't get it right, etc. So they've got some stuff in the way. And what we're going to do is we're going to closed eye process. What we're going to do is I'm going to step you back into your current reality, back into the past for a little bit, do some gratitude. They're going to bring you back to your current reality. And this is a beautiful process to have information to come through on your next steps. And then we're going to take a step and then a second step closer to achieving this desired reality, what you've chosen today. And then once that's finished, then we're going to look at the next steps after that. So what's your next desired reality and your next desired reality? So who's keen for that? Who is ready for inner power alignment? Excellent, good stuff. Right, let's do it. So what I'd like you to do is take a big breath, close your eyes, or we'll have a quick drink of water if you choose. And just close the eyes and step into the intention of getting the most out of this process. And just allow it, for whatever happens, happens. Just allow it to be beautiful and heart-centered. Take a couple of breaths, just stepping into this beautiful process of knowing to allow the information to come through from our intuition to know what next steps to take. And I want you to step into your desired reality. I choose the end result of. Step into that again. Notice what you notice. Stepping into your number 5. I am number 5. Notice what you notice. And now I want you to go back into your current reality again. What's it like now? I want you to notice what you notice about what's it like now. Notice what's different. Notice what beliefs are in the way. What resistance is in the way. What feelings are in the way. Notice the dysfunctions that are in the way. But just notice that current reality. Where you are now. What are you doing on this call? What have you been doing just before it? What are you planning to do afterwards? Just notice where you are now. That's it. Excellent. Now what I want you to do is take a step back in your time, in your timeline, and take yourself younger. You can go back a few months, 6 months, 12 months. But I want you to go back and step into being grateful and full of love for everything that's happened in the past so you can have now. Just notice what you notice. And just notice without having everything in the past, you wouldn't have what you have now. And just come from your beautiful heart of just full gratitude for that. Or the experiences and the actions of what happened in the past to give you what you have today. Just being grateful for that. And sure, there's going to be rights and wrongs and ups and downs, but just accept being grateful for everything in the past to get where you are today. And just notice that you have had wins. You may have had some losses, but you have had wins, more wins than losses. Beautiful. And that is in your number one of just full gratitude for the past, of all the previous actions and experiences. And just knowing that you're grateful for everything in the past, I want you to now step forward into number two again, into your current reality. And notice what it's like having all that love and gratitude with you. That's it. And now I want you to step into, what is the next action I'm going to take to have more of my desired reality, which is what I'm choosing today, my true choice. Step into my desired reality, my next action of that, what it is for you. Which is number three. Step into number three, taking the next steps towards my desired reality, one step after your current reality. Just notice what it's like. And now I want you to notice that you've achieved that it's done, that it's finished. You've completed all of that in number three. And I want you to take another step forward into number four, one step before your desired reality, and notice what you notice. Notice what actions you're going to take at number four. More actions to get my desired reality. Just notice what that is for you. What are these actions that I'm taking to be one step away from my desired reality? And now what I'd like you to do is take another step forward and step in to your desired reality, having it all to be true. Just notice what you notice. That I'm now having it all. Notice who's with you. What are you doing? How much excitement is there? And the feeling of just knowing you created it. From your own inner power, you created this beautiful desired reality. Just notice how it feels. Achieving it. Being it. And now I want you to notice that you've finished this desired reality. It is done. You have achieved it and it is finished. Now what I'd like you to do is to step into number 6, which is the next steps after your desired reality, and notice what you notice. What comes up? What are these actions you're going to take? Just notice how powerful that is. And just notice all these actions that you need to take at number 6. How does it feel? Where are you? What are you doing? More actions around the online business or whatever it may be for you. And now I want you to notice that you've achieved that it's done. You have finished taking all these actions. It is completed. And with a big smile on your face, I want you to step into number 7, which is the next actions after those actions are completed. and allow the information intuitively to come through. What are the next steps? What are the actions that I need to take? Notice what you notice. Excuse me. And number 7. And with a beautiful rush of energy, of love from the heart, the knowing that you've achieved it, you've taken the action, and you're a super conscious creator, just breathe that in. Just breathe in this beautiful achievement of knowing that number 7 is now completed. And how cool is that? And when you're ready, you can take a big breath and open up your eyes. And how was that? Was that fun, everybody? Did we get lots of information and stuff come through intuitively? Satisfaction, oh, excellent, Adeline, that's awesome. Satisfaction is completed is how I feel. Cool. Coolin, excellent, awesome, excellent, cool. So even how when we use that process, we can see where we are, where we want to be, and the actions that we need to take. And it's so powerful because our superconscious is like a hard drive in our computer. It's just sitting there waiting for you to open it and have the information. It's waiting. So really focusing on that is so powerful. So we go through these steps, especially 4 and 5, we can actually see allow to come through. What steps do we actually need to take towards our desired reality? So very, very cool. So back to our unconscious. So how can we have more confidence and relationships? By being in our structure of our desired reality, choosing it over here, and not being stuck in a dysfunction of having less, choosing it and then taking the action around it. Now, for those of you who've listened to replay on this call, if you have a lot of current reality stuff, a lot of dysfunction, there's a beautiful process in this group called the 3 Circle, and it's very, very quick and easy. If you're feeling any like sadness or guilt or pain or anything like that, it's a very quick process to just simply remove that so you can take more action. And it's down the page quite a bit. 3 Circle, it's called. Very powerful, very easy, and I certainly recommend that to remove that so then you can start taking action. And give me some feedback. You can flip me an email, post on the page about the wins and stuff you're having around removing this resistance to simply have more of what you love and less of what you don't love. More satisfaction and less pain. So that's my call today. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to reach out, you've got my website, gregjonesnz.com. Flick me an email, give me a call or whatever. If you'd like to do a free one-on-one, you're welcome to. It's certainly more than happy for everyone in this group to have a one-on-one to come along and experience the Superconscious Recode personally if they choose. We can work on anything that you want to. Because I love this work and it's changed my life, and I just love how it changes people's lives when they really step into it. And we remove that stuff that's not serving us. The health benefits are amazing. You know, a lot of health stuff is because our immune system is breaking down because our body's stressed out. When we remove all the emotions and feelings off these memories in here, our bodies start to repair and recover. We have more energy. We're feeling better. You know, it's just so powerful, and that's what I love about this work. So thank you so much for being on this call. And we'll see you on the call next week, 7 a.m. New Zealand time. And appreciate you, and thank you.